Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
94.1 FM. San Antonio's Sports Center.
We got Monday Night Football coming up. A doubleheader as the Ravens take on the Bucks coming up at 6:30 right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Then at 7:45 over on San Antonio's ESPN AM 1250, we have the Chargers and Cardinals. Over the weekend, the Texans fell to 5-2 on the year as they lost on a last-second field goal in Green Bay to the Packers, while the Longhorns fell to 5th in the latest AP poll after losing at home to Georgia.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't think.
That goal is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge. What's up, Daddy?
Can't stop me now. Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I appreciate you, however you may be listening. Whether that's on 94.1 FM on your radio dial, if you're listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com, or if you are watching on YouTube, all of our shows stream live to YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in at SA Sports Star. Go ahead, like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show, like those already in the bullpen, Ren G, Fred Records, Fred Villarreal, Thomas Pearson, Juan Garcia, Josh Machota. I appreciate all of y'all for joining in today. Man, what a weekend. It was a bad weekend if you are a fan of the Longhorns or the Texans, which I am. Cowboys got a good one. Not a lot of heat on you over the weekend as you were on your bye. Jerry didn't grab a mic. Everything seemingly went well for y'all. And for Aggie fans, congratulations. Got the win in Starkville, setting up a huge game this weekend against LSU. But the Texas Longhorns just got trounced. And in doing so, at the end of the first half, Steve Sarkisian opened up the door to the conversation when he put Arch Manning in place of a struggling Quinn Ewers. The Morning Huddle discussed this earlier this morning. You can catch them every day from 6 to 10 right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Rob and AJ on the newfound quarterback controversy.
Quinn Ewers, 25 of 43, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 2 lost fumbles.
And it was the turnovers. That really just, I mean, Texas defense acquitted itself quite well. I thought that there was nothing. They did the best they could. Quality defense that was put in tough situations all night.
Although, listen, and I guess this goes to their defense too. Carson Beck threw 3 picks himself.
Yeah, number 7 again. I'll say it. That Barron kid he read him Beck like a book.
But Texas late in the second quarter, down they were down 23-0, I believe at the time. Pulled Quinn Ewers and put Arch Manning in, and I could not believe what I was seeing.
I'm a conspiracy theorist, man.
I was shocked that Sark did that, and it only.
Why are you shocked?
Explain
to me your
because there were 2 things that could have happened. 2 things could have happened there.
And?
One was Arch Manning could have saved the day,
and that's bad.
And now you've got a full-blown quarterback controversy.
No, I don't think you have a controversy at all. I think it's over. If he comes in and does what you just said, he's successful, he turns the tide, it's over. He's already won 2 games. He baptized by fire in the worst possible situation.
Quinn Ewers took this team to the playoff last year.
What have you done for me
lately?
The
national semifinal.
This is what have you done for me lately?
He beat Oklahoma by a million last week.
What have you done for me lately? And for a quarter and a half, you had done absolutely nothing other than subtract from my team.
The alternative was Arch Manning comes in and doesn't play well. You have to go back to Quinn, and now you've shaken his confidence.
Well, that's what happened.
That is because Arch was no better, and he fumbled the ball away. Like he blew it too. So to me, this was the worst case scenario because now
exactly what Sark. This was the plan, dude. I swear to you, they'll never admit to it, but Arch was going to play. He had no matter the outcome, unless it was a runaway. Unless you had a 4-touchdown lead, and then Arch would play in the second half and do some mop-up duty. But Arch was going to play.
So you're telling me if this game was 14-14 and it was back and forth,
he was going to play late in the second quarter.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, but if you're in uncharted waters. To maintain 2 quarterbacks like this has never been done before. To keep guys that now could so easily transfer and start immediately. To manage to keep these 2 guys in the building, you have to think outside the box because this has never worked. Trust me, I've been a part of it. So what do you do to keep both happy? He had to get Arch in the game. He had to because he could have turned the tide. And if he had, Quinn Ewers was done. But he didn't. So Quinn got back in, and he got it right. This is the best case scenario coming out of a loss because now Sark can look at everybody and say, hey, man, I tried. I put him in.
Remember, Ohio State had 3 guys.
Never they worked before.
They had Cardale Jones, Braxton Miller, and J.T. Barrett. All 3 were like really viable starting. And it was like it's one of those things where sometimes it's better to just have one dude who you know is the dude.
But now, I thought they did up until this point. But you can wake up today and go, Quinn Ewers, it's still probably our guy considering what he did in the second quarter. But I think, let me tell you, I don't think Quinn Ewers is long for the starting unit. I think now Sark has enough to justify to himself, to his team, before the end of the season to make a change. I think we've got enough.
I think he can only do that if there's a disaster falls this team.
You've got 2 weeks where a disaster could imminently occur before the A&M game. You've got a Vanderbilt ready for you there, and you got a Florida team that's getting better by the week. They're the perfect opportunity to get right because they're just good enough but not great. But I think the table is set for Arch to be the starting quarterback by the time they roll into College Station. In fact, I would say, as I sit right now, 51% that Ewers will lose his job by the time they play in College Station.
Can we agree that if Arch Manning's name was Arch Stevenson, no one would be talking about
we can absolutely agree with this. No doubt in my mind. You think he would have played in that situation?
No.
But Sark had to fend off the wolves and prove something to himself. Can this cat survive in the worst possible situation with a little bit of home cooking? And he did. And he did something that Ewers can't. He took off and picked up 25 yards. And what we saw was an offensive line.
Well, and then he got hit and he fumbled the ball away.
Yeah, there's that. But it was what got him there that I'm going to remember. And we saw an offensive line that got a little shell-shocked against a high end. Now, they're not going to see that kind of quality very often, but it was still SEC line, and we saw them get punched in the face. And the one thing I know, I can get Arch out of the pocket, and I'm not sure I can get Ewers out.
It is going to be interesting as the season goes on for sure, because what happens if Quinn Ewers, who I presume will start against Vanderbilt, struggles early there? What about that? Vanderbilt's 2-1 in the SEC, 5-2 overall. They beat Kentucky. They played Missouri to a 3-point game. They beat Alabama. And Alabama, not what they were, but you don't see Vanderbilt going and beating Alabama. So if UT is wounded in any way, do you make that switch all of a sudden if Quinn Ewers starts struggling. And I think Steve Sarkisian has now opened that door. As it pertains to the Houston Texans, close game, last second loss, field goal at the end. But should fans take any solace in playing a close game in Green Bay? I don't think so. We'll discuss next right here on Extra Innings with Pledge on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
If you needed one more reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler, get this. Diamonds Direct maintains involvement in the entire diamond process and handpicks the best just for you. You see, any jeweler can claim to be a direct importer or have so-called partnerships overseas, but Diamonds Direct has special access that others simply don't have. Nobody can get closer to the source than Diamonds Direct. Indeed, Diamonds Direct is recognized in the industry as a world diamond powerhouse with unrivaled buying power and decades of inside connections that go back to their roots as actual diamond cutters. Bottom line, Diamonds Direct is without question the jeweler here that can truly offer the absolute best value. We're true talking direct importer prices on hand-selected diamonds that come straight from the source. Make no mistake, Diamonds Direct refuses to be undersold on GIA-certified diamonds. And we challenge you, let us prove it. Diamonds Direct, your source for the ultimate diamond value. Proud to call Alamo City home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
George gets justice. After being hit by an 18-wheeler, the experienced attorneys of George Salinas Injury Lawyers are San Antonio's choice for getting you the maximum compensation you deserve. With over 110 years of combined experience, they've recovered millions for their clients. 18-wheelers may be bigger than you on the road, but you can be bigger than them in the courtroom. George guarantees that you don't pay unless they win your case. Call 210-225-0909 today for a free consultation. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station when you buy a Connecticut water softener. A free drinking water system installed at your kitchen sink with the cleanest, best-tasting water you've ever had. Better for your coffee maker, better for cooking, better for everything. Free with the purchase of a Connecticut water softener, but only for a limited time.
Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy.
And is the last water softener you'll ever own. Right now, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking water station when you buy a Connecticut water softener. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call us at 656-PURE.
Check them out at ConnecticutSA.com. And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Connecticut.
It's time to huddle up and listen close. For 2024, we pay tribute to a true game changer in the world of snacks. The unrivaled, the unbeatable, the pork rind. Yes, it's crunch time, and we're not just talking about the last few nail-biting minutes of the game. We're talking about a snack so audaciously crunchy, it puts those pretentious chips and pretzels to shame. So here's to you, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds, for being more than just a crunch. Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. It's crunch time. Find your rind at HEB.
911, what's your emergency?
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In San Antonio, 5 domestic violence calls happen every hour.
The time to end domestic violence in our community is now.
Step out of violence.
You are not alone.
Call 211 for help. Call 911 if it's an emergency.
It's time to review the top 3 highlights of the day. I'm joined as always by my co-anchor Snoop.
Hey, what up, though?
Snoop, number 1 has to be getting the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence at T-Mobile.
Yeah, you should hustle down to T-Mobile like a dog chasing a squirrel chasing a nut.
Nice analogy, Snoop. Dogs do love to chase squirrels.
And squirrels love to chase those nuts.
On to highlight number 2, at T-Mobile, families can save 20% every month versus the other big guys.
That is very impressive. You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
That's exactly what I'm planning on doing with my savings, Snoop. Now, take it away, Snoop.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on them. Now drop that jingle.
With 24 monthly bill credits, eligible trade-in on Go 5G Next. Well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits, and credit stop and balance on required finance agreement too. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Halloween's coming alive at Target. Jackie and Gordy, the Jack-O-Lanterns, here with a front porch view of Target's Halloween deals, like Best House on the Block trick-or-treat candy starting at $5.99.
Sweet. Don't forget, can't wait to wear it costumes from $15.
Can't wait to see it. Oh, and decorating and pumpkin carving kits for $5.
That's how I got my big toothy grin.
This week only, trick-or-treat candy starts at $5.99, costumes from $15, and decorating and pumpkin carving kits for $5. Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Restrictions apply.
So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. One Way or Young Fest was this weekend out in Vegas. Fall Out Boy played a hell of a set. Sad I missed it. But I was instead at home making sure that I was able to catch that Houston Texans game. And while it was close, how good was it? Because as the Blitz points out, CJ Stroud struggled in that game, and he has for a lot this year.
So, James Pledger, what the hell happened to your Houston Texans on Sunday?
They got punked.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing that happened at Minnesota.
Nah, it wasn't that bad. Did
you watch the game?
Not much of it. I was more interested in the Detroit-Minnesota game that I was watching.
That offensive line looked like Dallas-Detroit.
Oh, yeah, it was bad, right? Well, the final score was at least respectable.
It was a respectable final score, but a little misleading. And for you Texans fans, both of you,
Pledge and Joshua.
In all seriousness, don't forget Ben.
Oh, Ben. I always forget Ben.
Yeah, well, Ben. I mean, you look at it. What do you say, right? Like, this was a great opportunity for Houston to really show they're a legit Super Bowl contender. We know they're a playoff team. And what surprised me about this game is that the defense actually seemed to play well. It was the offense and the great CJ Stroud that couldn't do a damn thing. And while it cannot be an excuse for the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, but maybe CJ sucked on Sunday because the offensive line was that bad.
Yeah, for me, everything is on the table. When it comes to it, has to get fixed.
Chris Krauser right now and being able to turn things around.
Yeah, like I said, when it comes to it, I know how we're coached, what we're asking to be done, and it's not showing up on the tape. So it's not just one person; it's the entire thing. So it's just the entire offense from the top to the bottom. We have to get it cleaned up, not one person or one thing, but multiple things, multiple issues that we have to get collectively. We have to get it fixed.
Yeah. And he's right. I mean, you got to get it fixed. That offensive line is going to be an issue. Look, I think Houston is a playoff team, although they're starting to bunch up in that division now. So maybe it's not a runaway Texans division winner. Oh, they've got Indianapolis this week, don't they? Is it maybe not. Anyway, yeah, they do, right? Yeah. So that turns out to be a huge game. the way it is, because the Colts are just a game behind Houston at this point in time. But they got to get that fixed. And it's the same with the Cowboys, Jason. I mean, you got to get that offensive line fixed. Everything starts there. The issue is the Texans actually have a running back that can actually gain yards behind a bad offensive line.
Joe Mixon is the reason Houston was competitive. But is there concern with what you're seeing from C.J. Stroud in a sense of, we saw what he did last year in incredible rookie season. This year, that C.J. Stroud isn't around. Why? I mean, decision-making. Now, I got home from Austin at halftime, and we were watching it in the car on the phone, but not really watching the first half. But I watched the good part of the second half. I had Detroit, Minnesota on the other TV. And even the decision-making from C.J. Stroud looked off. And what's different besides the offensive line? But last year he kept plays alive. Last year he threw guys open. And he seemingly has better receivers this year.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. They've got tape on him. Second year, the good ones get through that and they become the good ones. And I have every confidence that C.J. Stroud's going to get through that. But the second year, defensive coordinators know how to play you. They figure out a way, and then you've got to figure out a way to get over that. And the best ones do. I think C.J. will, but I think that's really a big part of the problem. These guys know his tendencies now. Where they didn't last year. They know what he likes to do, where he likes to go. And so you got to figure that out. And I think he will, but I think that's a big part of what's happening. The offensive line is an issue. There's no question. But again, I think his defensive coordinators are the best in the world in the NFL, and they're going to figure you out, but you got to adjust to them now and move forward.
Look, I understand that CJ has not put up the numbers that we thought, the video game numbers we thought. But I also didn't think he was going to put up massive video game numbers in terms of just having Joe Mixon behind him and then finally having a run game. The problem is CJ's got zero time in that backfield. I mean, simple TE stunts are getting home easily. And CJ has zero time. There is some escapability, but a lot of times there are 2 and 3 guys meeting CJ at the quarterback. And that's on that offensive line and not providing him the time to be able to properly go through his progressions. If you've watched the Texans at all this year, you've noticed that a lot of what CJ's done is under intense duress. And he has still performed quite well under that duress. But the offensive line, healthy, that we thought was going, or at least I thought was going to take a step forward this year, has not. Now, I don't know if that's on the offensive line coach. I don't know if it's on Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator, or a combination, but there are issues within that Texans offensive line and their ability to protect CJ Stroud. And I think part of it too comes down to the personnel as well. Look, you're missing one of the top receivers in the league, what was the top receiver in the league, and Nico Collins. But not just that. I think the personnel is easy to discern on what the Texans are doing. A lot of the times when you have Stover in close to the line, they are running the football. A lot of the times on third down, Mixon comes out, Dario Gumbawale goes in, and you know they're in a passing situation. And a lot of the times they're in third and long because the offensive line has failed on first or second down and allowing CJ Stroud to get a play off. So they're playing from behind the sticks immediately. What CJ has been tasked with this year is just been awful, and it's contributed to his sophomore slump. But I don't think it's because defenses have figured him out. I think they figured out how to rush him and exploit that offensive line. And that's one of the issues that the Texans have to clean up here moving forward, especially this weekend against the Indianapolis Colts in a game that could be for the division lead, with the Colts just a game behind them. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. I am James Pledger here on San Antonio Sports Star. We got Ravens Tampa Bay coming up next, presented by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Are you ready to build your company's dream team? Just like in sports, finding skilled players is essential for success. With Robert Half's winning combination of specialized recruiting professionals and award-winning AI, we'll help you find the MVPs and key role players who will have you hanging banners in the rafters. Because in business, it's all about having the experienced team on your side. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings.